Okay, we made it happen. Let me press a couple buttons here on Instagram and we are good to go. We're going to try double live. Double live times 2. There we go. All right. Screens. So many screens. We got YouTube, we got Instagram, we are live on both. I'm here, answer questions, to hang out, to chat, whatever you'd like. Let's go. I don't do these enough, honestly. I'll be looking around on 2 different chats. So if you got a question, hit me up. I'm here. I'm all yours. So to kick it off, where have I been? I'm in Mexico right now. I'm in Playa del Carmen, which is like an hour south of Cancun. And I love it here because there's so much cool shit. For example, check this out. This, if you've been watching the videos, is a Mayan machete made from scrap metal. So there are Mayans. People talk about the Mayans like there are people of the past, right? You see like the sharp teeth and the sacrifices. There's still 5 million Mayans living in Mexico right now. So, and they still have their own language, and even behind the scenes, some still sacrifice goats to rain gods, all that kind of stuff. And they've got an entire beautiful culture here. And that's part of the reason why I call Mexico home, is because Mexico is one of those countries where the more you explore, the more mystery unfolds. And this is a scrap metal machete. So the guys, they go to scrap yards, they get suspensions from trucks, and then from there, they beat it down into a koa. And this is kind of like the multi-tool out here in the jungle. Yucatan, this whole peninsula, has very thick jungle and a lot of vines. So this machete cuts through vines really easy. Like picture having a sword, right? The sword kind of glance off the vines. This hooks the vines, as well as good at picking mangoes and maybe your nose. Don't know, never tried, but wouldn't recommend it. All right, we got some questions. Pravnav Shah wants a shout out. There you go. And yeah, some people saw the video. Actually, we ended up making shotguns in that video. That was the main point. I found out that these Mayan boys can go get like water pipes and bicycle spokes and make literal shotguns that they go hunting deer with. And on the way, we made some koas as well. Honestly, this thing might seem wild and crazy, and it is, but I'm doing this new project called Lost Artifacts. I wanted to have merch for Fearless and Far. I didn't want to do the normal t-shirts and the hats. I wanted to do something brand new and different. So one thing that we're going to be launching this Saturday is a product called Lost Artifacts. You can go to fearlessandfar.com/Lost Artifacts, or go to the description if you're on YouTube, or at Lost Artifacts on Instagram. And you can see that we're selling these koas made from Mayan blacksmiths from scrap metal, as well as crystal skulls, if you can believe it. We have 8 crystal skulls available coming this Saturday. So check out Lost Artifacts. You can DM me if you want the link, or check in my description on Instagram, or the link in this video on YouTube. What's up, Fearless and Far? Me and my wife love your videos, and much love from Florida. Thank you. Actually, I was just in Florida 2 weeks ago for Danny Jones's podcast. It's quite a famous podcast there. That'll be coming out soon. Can't wait for you guys to see it. All right, we're going to pop on Instagram for a second. Do you get new tattoos on your adventures? So these tattoos that you see, they've grown quite a bit. I got this sleeve like 8 years ago. Actually, quick story about the sleeve that I haven't told very many places. For you guys who are like super OG, the brand used to be called Kick the Grind before it was called Fearless and Far. If you were here then, drop some dragons in the chat, because this is like 6-7 years ago, and everything has grown so much since then. But when I was thinking about changing everything, Kick the Grind was good, but I was making too many videos about top 5 beaches, and it wasn't scratching my soul, right? I didn't feel like I was contributing and giving back to anybody or the world. I made this decision to change the name of my brand to Fearless and Far, but I was kind of afraid to do so because I wanted to get a sleeve tattoo. I wanted to go eat more bugs and go see dead bodies in Indonesia, but I didn't think the world wanted that. And then there was a day where it's like, why am I worried about what other people are thinking when, like, why am I doing what everything else? Why am I doing what everyone else is when I'm willing to do what everyone else isn't? I've always been the guy who's not afraid to get dirty, who wants to learn new things. And so I thought, okay, screw it. I always wanted to work for the BBC. I wanted to be the next David Attenborough. BBC doesn't like tattoos. They're more proper, but I'm not working with BBC anyway. So I got the sleeve tattoo, changed the YouTube name, changed the content. And this is the universe rewarding someone being bold right here. Because again, I thought if I got the tattoo, I'd never have my dream job working with the BBC, right? So I got the tattoo, moved forward, and then 2 months later, after getting the sleeve tattoo, I got a message from the BBC asking if I wanted to host their travel show. That's how the universe works, guys. You got to be bold. You got to push through the things that are scary. Fear is the way. Fear is the compass. That's why I have the compass right here. So, long story short, make bold moves. You've played small for too long. Anyway, the tattoo artist who did this, we made a YouTube video together. It did very well, and he's been hooking me up with tattoos now for like a decade. So it's grown over time. All right. And yeah, some people were mentioning about how when we made the scrap metal machetes in Mexico, that the guy who made the shotguns passed away a few weeks after he completed our shotgun. And he had never, like, he was such a nice guy. And normally people don't want to share how it's done. Normally they can get in a little bit of trouble. They do it in secrecy, but this man knew he was sick and knew that he wanted to share his craft with the world. He wanted to show us how to make a gun from scrap metal, the true old-fashioned Mayan way, and so then completed 2 shotguns for us and then passed away. So that video that we made on YouTube, turning a truck into weapons is what it's called, was his like last testament, man. Like, I get a bit emotional sometimes with this because it's not the first time I've been able to go visit someone. They showcase some amazing part of the world, and then they pass away. And I think often some of the most interesting people in this world are older, right? They've lived more, they've built more, they've done more, they live in the mountains. And being able to create something and show the world as their last message has been quite like a beautiful thing. And so for Don Juan, the guy who made us the shotguns, he passed after we made the video. So anyway, we have some machetes, and also I own 2 unregistered, unlicensed shotguns made from Mexican scrap metal that I don't have here because it's super illegal. So my Mayan friend has them in Valladolid, which is like an hour from here. But I do own 2 unlicensed, unregistered shotguns. Some questions about the crystal skulls. So like I was saying, we have this big merch drop happening this weekend called Lost Artifacts. We are selling these scrap metal machetes made by Mayan blacksmiths, and we have crystal skulls, legitimate crystal skulls, which is a crazy thing to be able to sell. And if you've seen the video on YouTube as well, we went to Belize, went into the black hole of Belize, which is this very dark cave. You have to rappel down on ropes. You sleep there, and then the next day you do a 4-hour hike through an underground river to find this chamber where there was literally a head that was cut off someone 1,500 years ago on a Mayan sacrifice and placed there in this dark cave. And then from there, it's slowly mineralized and crystallized because of the limestone in the cave. We're not selling those. That's staying there forever, hopefully. But what we are selling are actual crystal skulls that are made in the USA by me and my team, and they're fucking wild. If you're any kind of antique collector or like strange things, Lost Artifacts, check it out. You can go to the Instagram page and or the link below to sign up to get notified. But yeah, crystal skulls, we're selling them. It's crazy. I really like your quote, "Experiences over possessions" by Joe V. Tang. Thank you. That came about, that was one of my first mottos. And that was, I think, a reflection of looking at the material world, seeing a lot of people who are very unhappy, and realizing that if you spend 10 grand on a car, for example, you're not going to think back 10 years later and be like, I love that car, right? It's just a car. You'll get a new one. You'll think of the new one. You're always thinking about the next car you're going to get. But spend 10 grand on a round the world 1 year backpacking trip. 10, 20, 30, 40 years later, you're going to look back and think that was the best money ever spent. You're not going to be looking to do it again. You're not going to be wishing you did certain things. No, it's going to be an investment. So experiences over possessions is one of the mottos for Fearless and Far. All right, going back on YouTube. Me and my boyfriend love your videos. Thank you so much. What chat is he reading? I'm reading YouTube chat and Instagram chat, both of them, which is a multitasking adventure in itself. Instagram chat's not getting too much attention, so I'll go over there. What happened with the video in the plane in the middle of the mangroves in Yucatan? Thank you for that question. On Instagram, I made a promise 2 weeks ago about how I was going to post a video about our adventure finding Pablo Escobar's crashed cocaine drug plane in Mexico. And that video is finished. But what happened is that now I'm trying a new thing where I'm dubbing different languages into video. So the YouTube world now is getting kind of strange because creators like Mr. Beast, for example, they'll have an English channel, a Spanish channel, a Brazilian channel, and they'll hire artists, dub artists to record over top of their voice and have different channels. So even though I speak English and make content in English, I would have a Spanish channel where I hire someone to do my voice in Spanish. Now YouTube's taking it all and put it together. So in my new video, that video is launching tomorrow, the Pablo Escobar cocaine drug plane craziest thing where we took these motherfuckers and slashed through the jungle for 3 days and almost died. That's going to get launched tomorrow. I'm just finishing up. No, yeah. I was going to say next week. Tomorrow. I just said tomorrow. All right. Tomorrow it's done. I got the last dubs today. I'm only thinking next week because I want to make sure I get the thumbnail perfect. Here's behind the scenes for YouTube, guys. It's not worth posting a video unless the thumbnail and title are perfect, because that's what I learned way back in the day. Again, talking about Kick the Grind and how the channel used to be called that. I wasn't getting very many views. I was doing content that I didn't want because I didn't. There's two things. Here's the thing. I don't want to bore everybody with YouTube details, but there's two things that are important. The CTR, the click-through rate, and the average view duration. What that means is, do people click on your video when they see the thumbnail? Yes or no? That is the number one metric that YouTube looks at to whether the video is interesting. And then average view duration is how long that person watches that video. That's a testament of quality and also someone who made content that was what the thumbnail said. Those two things are the most important thing. And if you don't think about those things, you might as well not start on YouTube these days. It's crazy how important they are. So mastering those two things is the number one thing for a YouTuber. And for this new one, we're not quite there. I just promised you it's going to be tomorrow. I promised it 2 weeks. It'll be tomorrow. So tomorrow you'll see Pablo Escobar's cocaine drug plane expedition, where myself and Arturo, the same guy from All My Mexico Adventures, went in the middle of nowhere, and it was one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life. Live tomorrow on YouTube. Thank you for the tattoo love, Fad 3 Striker. Sleeves, thank you, American Nightmare. Yep. A/B testing is what Prince Jawart Horta says about thumbnails. So yeah, sometimes if you're really, really perceptive on YouTube, you'll see someone, like, you'll go on YouTube, you'll see a thumbnail, then you'll go back later and you'll see a different thumbnail. So A/B testing is something creators do where they put two thumbnails that alternate day to day and they pick the best one. Let's go back on Instagram for a little bit. People talking about drugs. We'll let it pass there. All right, back to YouTube. Why so many ads? Well, this is talking about the stream. There shouldn't be ads on the stream. Is there ads on the stream on YouTube? Let me know. Do I travel to New Zealand or Australia? I did a decade ago, but I haven't been back. It's a long way away, but it's not off the table. It's just having good video ideas. More videos in Romania. Romania is a wild one. Mad honey, American Nightmare says. So there's a kind of honey that's found in Nepal and in Turkey and around the Black Sea. That's called mad honey. If you've heard of it, drop it in the chat. So mad honey is a certain kind of bee goes to a certain kind of, there's a new word for you, maybe, rhododendron, which is a kind of flower. And it gets pollen from this certain kind of rhododendron, and in that there's a neurotoxin that the honey you eat is neurotoxic, that you can make you mad, aka mad honey or hallucinogenic honey. I've tried it twice, by the way. But where I did it was in Turkey. So in northeastern Turkey, you can find mad honey, hallucinogenic honey. And the video never got posted. Why didn't the video get posted? Because we didn't have a hallucinogenic experience. And I think part of the problem that happens in this world today is like, especially in travel, is I can go, for example, I can go to have this hallucinogenic honey in Turkey. My local bee farmer, who his whole life is making this honey because it is like medicinal in small quantities, they can tell me don't have too much. And then I can choose to disrespect them and have a whole bunch and potentially get very sick and put my burden on him for a YouTube video, or I can respect him and be a good guest. And that's kind of what happened, where we had some. I had more than he recommended. I didn't feel anything. So then what happens? Do I fake it for you guys? Do I fake being crazy and then make him worry, but then maybe tell him, oh, I'm not actually tripping balls, and be like, oh, I'm tripping balls. Oh my God, YouTube. And then lie to you. And for me, my videos, I never want to lie, bend the truth, never want to tell any tall tales, because in my eyes, travel is the pursuit of authenticity. People travel the world because they want to find truth and answers. And if you're going to start falsifying information, adventures, interactions, experiences, then you make the world seem more dangerous than it actually is. My greatest mission, guys, is to convince the world that it's not so scary. Convince the world that the world isn't scary. Convince anybody watching my videos, it's not a big scary place where everything's going to poison you, bite you, kill you, kidnap you. That's not been my experience. I've been to 80 countries, been doing this for 12, 13 years now. Very few times have I ever found myself attacked, except for Satan's Castle. Who's seen the Satan's Castle video? Because in that video, we were in Turkey, very close to Mad Honey, and I was solo camping at a place called Satan's Castle, which you would think might not be the best place to camp. And I got attacked in the middle of the night by 3 men with 2 at AK-47s, 1 had a pistol. Who remembers that adventure? Anybody? I got shot at multiple times. However, little asterisk there, it was a misunderstanding. I was there. The locals thought there was a treasure hunter trying to steal the princess's treasure, and they called the military police, who didn't ask questions first. They shot first many times, stormed my little castle, and chased me off into the rocky ledges where I could have fallen to my death. Anyway, also on YouTube. Satan's Castle video was a wild one. But anyway, getting back on it. I don't want to bend the truth. I want to tell the truth. I want to have adventures that seem too amazing to be true. And that's what I've been able to find. But one thing you'll never catch me doing is lying and bending the truth, because travel is the pursuit of truth. And I feel like if I bend it, then it's just breaking everything that travel is. All right. Going back to Instagram for a sec. Go to Kalakmul. I've actually never been. Go to Afghanistan. I don't know. Not on the radar right now. Not yet. We'll see. The Middle East is good. I've been to Oman. I've been to Pakistan. I've been to... is Pakistan the Middle East? No, probably not, right? Anyway, just been to Oman, really. All right, cool. Any plans on visiting Nagaland? Oh my God, what happened to my lips on Instagram? I don't know how to turn that off, guys. YouTube. On Instagram, I hit the face filter, so it looks like I have, Russian model lips. You know what? We're gonna keep it. Fuck it. Yeah. So Nagaland is a place in Nagaland is a place in India, northeastern India, where headhunters used to exist until quite recently. like 50, 70 years ago. And they still do things where they eat. There's another old video that I had called Eating Etag. And etag is this meat from the northern Philippines that has maggots still growing in it. If you can believe that. There's meat where they go and ceremonial. The village elders take a lot of pride in smoking their own pork, and they have their own shed where it's on one side it's meat for the living, and then other side's meat for the dead. And then they smoke and they bring the meat for the dead only to funerals, and meat for the living only to weddings. And it's a big thing. But whether it's for the living or the dead, it's still full of maggots. Anyway, I've only heard about this in 2 places in the world. Northern Philippines, near Sagara, and also in Nagaland. Nagaland is wild. Oh, also they have, maybe someone from India can help me, or some whiz kid who knows travel. What's that place called that has like the Avatar bridges, where they take, literally the people have taken roots from trees and bent them over thousands of years to make these enormous Avatar bridges across the rivers there in the jungle. Who gets it? Who knows it? Looking sexy on Instagram. Xingjiahe National Forest, maybe Meghalaya. Meghalaya is what it's called. I would love to go there. Would love to. Nagaland will be on the list. I haven't even been to India, guys. I was supposed to go to India in August, but then we changed it last minute to go to Nigeria. That's the plan. Nigeria in August is the plan. No longer India. But Nagaland is very high on the list. So, check this out. Instagram's seen this. It's trying to face filter my friend here. YouTube has not seen this. This is let's call it a voodoo doll, for the lack of a better term at the moment. It is from Santeria, which is this black magic that's probably originally from Africa, then came over with the slave trade. And you can find it all through Latin America, where you have these totems and you can cast magical spells with these. So if you look, you pop it open, you put an offering inside. Could be blood, could be semen, could be whatever other fluid you want to put inside. Inside. And then, it's one in the belly too. So you fill it full of whatever offering you want. Take off his belly button too, maybe not. And then you burn it. And when you burn it, you cast a magical spell on someone. It can be a good one. It can be a bad one. It could be a love spell. It could be a hate spell. It could be, this one probably is not a love spell now that I look at it more closely. This is probably make your enemy feel a lot of pain. I'm guessing that's probably what it's for. Still looking for a name for this guy. Should we name him? These nails, actually shipping. I brought this back from Venezuela, honestly. We were there for an expedition a couple weeks ago and stopped into the black markets, the witchcraft markets in Caracas. And there'll be a video series of 4 video series coming out on Fearless and Far about Venezuela again, which it's going to be so good, guys. We visited a remote tribe in the Amazon. We had bright red loincloths. It was a great time. Kind Inquirer says, Fearless and Far, I was at a Nigerian wedding yesterday. Man, what was a Nigerian wedding like? After Nigeria, come to Mozambique on Instagram. I haven't been to Mozambique either. I've got a contact that could take me. Mozambique probably has the most aggressive flag in the world. Have you seen it? AK-47 and a machete? I don't remember. Angola is a machete and a cogwheel. Mozambique, I think, is a machete and a gun. Cool flag. Kiana, Mike, thank you for being here. Your videos have helped me with my depression back in 2017. Guys, mental health is a really interesting thing. I'd love to know who has struggled with anxiety or depression or things like that. The one interesting thing about the style of travel that I do is it's very easy to get addicted to the constant rush, right? We're getting shot at by the military police in Turkey, then I'm skydiving in Texas, and then I'm off raiding baboon camps with hunter gatherers. Then I come back home and it's just like, bam, quiet. And honestly, I got some days have some bad days in the sense of just staying motivated. I feel like my life is a bit of a drug. And when the come down happens, it's like, what do I fill that with? And I have to make sure I keep moving. I got to keep working out, trying new things, new projects, all that kind of stuff. Because if I sit still for too long, I just drive myself crazy. It's amazing how all the creative ways we can drive ourselves absolutely crazy when we have too much spare time. What's like a quote, like the devil lives in idle hands, or what's that quote again? The devil's alive in idle hands. Idle hands make the devil happen. Something like that. Where, at least for me, I would even argue the whole human spirit, if we don't have a purpose or a direction, we just wander. There's a good quote that says, a man is like a bicycle and must have forward momentum to stay standing. Paraphrase that a bit. But I really feel like that's true. For me, I have to have something on my calendar, have to have a workout plan, have to have an expedition coming up, have to have a new project. And that's part of the reason why we're doing the Lost Artifacts, right? The new merch plan, the new merch project coming up this weekend. Also with Tribal Rights, the adventure retreats we did in March, and also we're doing 2 more later this year. All of this is like new projects, new excitement, new brain cells being tested, like building new pathways, just new, fun, fresh. I think that's like the traveler's curse, where if you're an adventurous spirit or a curious soul, you have to always have that spark all of the time. Otherwise, you start to feel like a little bit dead inside, So for me, someone who's been traveling for so long, I just got to keep the momentum going. If I'm having a crappy day where I just feel slow and I feel like no energy, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Am I sick? Am I losing my drive? Am I burning out? I just have to get up, go to the gym, read a bit of a book, move my body, create something, and everything feels so much better. It's like, if you feel crappy, did you drink enough water? Did you get enough sleep? Did you work out? And basically all of the down feelings someone can have, those 3 things solves a lot. And honestly, with any kind of like anxiety-based conditions, I can't get over my kissy lips on Instagram. Part of the problem there is you make it worse by obsessing over it. So whether it be like maybe you have anxiety, or maybe you have panic attacks, or maybe you just feel like the world's too much, or for me, something that's happened often is I have something called depersonalization sometimes, where I feel like my body's kind of removed from my mind, or vice versa, and I feel kind of like detached. And all these things are just your body's dealing with stress and it's trying to cope. But the main thing you have to understand is that your body knows what's best. Sometimes it feels a little crazy. It doesn't make sense. But the more you obsess about it and think something's wrong with you, the worse it gets every single time. Trusting your mind and body that if you do feel sad, or you do feel anxious, or you do feel stuck, it's your body saying, you gotta do something different though. Get the fuck out of bed, move, try something, like walk away from the job or the whatever it be. Your body knows. And when your mind fights your body, when your mind knows subconsciously something's got to change, you're not changing, it has all these crazy manifestations of, there's a whole bucket full of things you can choose, procrastination, ADHD, addiction, whatever, all that. It's all just because something needs to change, A husband who farts in the matrimonial sheets will never be allowed to shake that bed. I don't know his quotes. You guys are hilarious. All right, Instagram's not doing so good. We're going to sign off there because the connection keeps breaking. Anyway, if you want to come chat, come on YouTube. I'm there now. Goodbye. Okay, now it's just us. The platform I like more. Who the fuck needs Instagram? Unfortunately, most of us do. I like you guys more, though. The thing is, like, Instagram's like probably the most toxic No, TikTok was pretty bad too. I'd love to know what you guys think is the most toxic social media platform. I can't spend much time on Instagram. Yeah, I just find it sucks me in. I don't get much out of it. What's my favorite flag? Mathieu says, I think Angola's flag. Angola's got a badass flag. Like I said, the machete and the cogwheel. That's the first one that comes to mind. I think Malawi's got a cool flag with the sun. Those are the two. Facebook is the most toxic. Hey, Adam, what's up, man? Adam was at the Tribal Rights Retreat in March. Crushed it, man. We had such a good time. About 22 people from all around the world. We were there, broke our limiting beliefs, claimed our bold, adventurous life, smashed it, did all sorts of rituals. We did an ayahuasca ceremony. We did a sweat lodge. We did all sorts of things, man. We had an awesome, awesome time together. Really happy to see Adam here. And yeah, Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. I've pretty much stopped using Facebook altogether these days. They're all toxic except X. Honestly, guys, I don't use X much either. I have an account, but I'm not there that often. YouTube, number 1. Unfortunately, Instagram's number 2 because it's good for business stuff. But all right, we've been live for 30 minutes. Now we just got the cool kids. We got the YouTube. This is where my jam is. I love you guys. Any questions at all about videos? Any questions at all about life? I'll probably rock it for the next 15 minutes or so. If there's good momentum, we'll keep it going. But if it's starting to slow down, I got to finish the video that I promised I was going to make for you tomorrow. And really, I should probably wait a week to get the right thumbnail. However, we're going to do it. We can A/B test that shit. I'll get it done during the week. We'll go back and forth. But I know I promised people that the video would get finished, so let's make it happen. Hit me with the cues. Hit me with the cues. What's my next country? I'm going to the States and Canada for about a month and a half for some weddings and to do some. Well, actually, it's interesting. I'm thinking about doing live events. I mean, we have the retreat, right? Tribal Rights Retreat, which we do. We're doing 2 more later this fall. Just spoke about it. But I'm thinking about doing pop-up talks and retreats. Sorry, pop-up talks and like weekend retreats or maybe seminars in the States. We're going to be going to Canada and the States for some weddings. I'm a new uncle. My sister just had a baby, which is great too. And also start to think about what that would look like to be able to do pop-up events across the States. That's what I'm doing next. Next big trip, though, is going to be going to Nigeria in August. But until then, I've got so many videos, guys. I've got 4 coming up for Venezuela. We have the Mexico one coming up tomorrow. We have 3 from Ethiopia from like last year. We got a whole bunch of stuff. So there'll be videos often, bop, 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 all the way until the next adventure, which will be Nigeria. Brother, can you please share your sleeve tattoo design, PDF, or image? Bro, do you really want, are you going to copy my tattoo inch for inch? I don't know about that. No, I'm not doing a naked photo shoot for what do you want me to do? Fucking LiDAR my arms, bro? No, but my artist is Westche, Weschattattoo in Houston, Texas. Westche. Or if you go on my page and you type in sleeve tattoo in my videos, you'll see the video I made with him years ago. And you can find his contact there. Really awesome artist, but I'm not uploading all of my photos, all of my body to online. People will do weird stuff with it. What's the best advice you can give to someone on how to live their best life? By Kyle V. I think this is a different answer for men and women. Not I think. It is a different answer for men and women. But Kyle, since I'm assuming you're a dude, the hardest thing for men is that you graduate high school, you get thrown out into the world, and you're like, now what? And you're like, can I have a job? And they're like, and you're like, I don't know if I want to do that either. And then you kind of bumble through life for a while, and eventually most people, some people, figure out what they want to do, kind of. And then some really kick it off and some just kind of flounder. For me, I floundered for a long time. Most people do, because I think the problem with the world today is there's too many options, bro. Like, there was an experiment called the jam experiment they did like 30 years ago. Well, they had a group of people and they gave them 3 jams: strawberry, raspberry, blueberry. And they said, pick a jam. You can only try one. And so they'd go, they'd try strawberry, blueberry, whatever, and they'd eat it on some toast. And then the scientists from the study would come back 2 weeks later and say, excuse me, sir, Kyle, were you happy with your jam choice? And Kyle, you were like, yeah, man, I fucking love blueberry. It's the best. Yeah. Don't need to try the other ones. And then they did the same thing again with 20 jams, exotic jams, gooseberry, mango. They had Nutella. They had maple syrup berry surprise jam. All of these exotic, amazing condiments. And they made people say, hey, listen, you can try one. And so they go up and they take forever to decide. And then because they have a timer, that, oh, I'll take the maple butter jam. And then they go, and then they were interviewed 2 weeks later. And they're like, hey, excuse me, Kyle, were you happy with your maple butter jam condiment? And then the answer is like, you know what? I wanted to try the mango, but then I didn't quite know. And then I only had to pick one, and I still kind of think about it. And that's literally what everyone's doing with everything right now. About everything, about relationships, about careers, about travel, it's like decision paralysis. There's another famous donkey, let's say, Burden's ass, I think is what this name of this donkey is. And there's a saying where it's like, Burden's ass encounters a problem. There's a carrot on this side and there's an apple on this side. And Burden's ass stops in the middle, looks at the carrot, looks at the apple, and then dies of starvation, not being able to choose one. That's what we're doing now. Most people. There's too many options. We're living in a world of just a complete abundance, and the human soul cannot even handle it. We don't know. We're always surfing for the next best thing, right? So I think as far as your question, if I can still remember it after my rant, it's like, how do you know where to go? Man, the biggest thing is just, if you have a passion for anything, it could be painting, it could be roller skating, it could be breakdancing, it could be making NFTs, it could be whatever, jujitsu, go balls deep, tits deep, chin deep into whatever lights you up, because fire and passion is not something that comes easy all of the time. It's fleeting. If you feel excited, go do that thing. Always. And it might not make any sense. When I got into breakdancing, I didn't think it'd be one of the biggest assets of my entire life. I used to be scared to speak. This is something that I talk about often. I had a phobia of public speaking. Now I've got an Emmy for best host, which is a pretty wild ride, going from paralyzed with fear to getting an international prestigious award for speaking. And right, breakdancing. Breakdancing helped me get there. I never thought it would do that, but basically, number one, it got me in front of a group without having to speak, right? Number two, the whole world dances, guys. We might not speak the same language, right? Maybe you speak Spanish or Norwegian and I speak English, but we all dance. Well, maybe not in the modern world, but if you go to visit the Sea Gypsies in Indonesia or the Hadza hunter-gatherers in Tanzania, all of these cultures dance, all of them. So if you don't speak the language at all, you can still communicate. And that was something I never thought. And so it gave me the confidence and the ability to be able to hang around the world. It's crazy, right? So these things that you don't really know how they could help. It doesn't matter. It'll all make so much more sense later, right? But following that passion, like just being fueled with passion, waking up and being excited for something, that in that state, you can do anything. Just getting to that state of excitement, like life is so much easier. Like you're not going to have a bad day if you're excited and looking forward to something, right? If you're excited and looking forward to something, you're going to have conversations, you're going to meet people, you're going to navigate your day in a much more bright, uplifting, empowered way, and that changes everything. So we focus a lot on like what we should be doing. But honestly, what we should be doing is following passion. And yeah, maybe you have to work a bullshit job for a while. That's fine. But when you finish that bullshit job, don't go back home and guzzle junk food or, I mean, so junk food, we talk about just being food. Porn, Netflix, video games, this is all junk food. Emotional junk food, soul junk food, actual junk food. That stuff just puts you to sleep. I for most of my life, I liked drinking quite a bit. It was fun. But now I've realized that it's also a sleeping potion. We're so many sleeping potions given to us just to keep us working our job, happy enough not to fucking kill ourselves, and just to get it done and then be a good little worker bee. You know what I mean? Any passions, bro. Follow them dead set. All right, I need some water. All right, if you message like 9 times in the chat, you're going to get booted. So, Tali, I appreciate all the emojis, bro. And also Tazen, but let's keep it respectful, all right? All right. Have I been to Turkey? Tazen, yes, I have. There's 4 or 5 different Turkey videos on my channel. Getting shot at Satan's Castle, camping in Cappadocia, in a cave in Cappadocia. Definitely 2. Maybe it could be more. I've made hundreds. So check it out, bro. Tali, I know you are fearless, but what is one thing that you will never do? One thing that you are genuinely scared of doing? Earlier, I talked a lot about I don't want to mix lies and falsehoods into travel. Part of the reason I left television, I did quite a few years as a television host. I don't like how there's pressure to fake things. Echoing what I said earlier, travel is the pursuit of truth in this world. And if you fuddle it all up, make it more clickable, act out these different scenarios that aren't true, it's a travesty to the pursuit of travel. So that's something that I'm just truth in general. You know what, guys? Recently, I've realized this too. I've been a people pleaser for a lot of my life, saying things just to make people happy. And in the past 6 months, 1 year, I've stopped doing that. And it's amazing what happens. So if someone's like, "Oh, you should come over," normally I say, "Oh, yeah, maybe." But now I say, "No, sorry, I can't. Like, I'm busy, but I'd love to some other time." Or maybe like, "No, sorry, I can't. I'm busy these days. Thanks for the offer." Just the truth is like a fucking ray of light, like Goku blasting through all of the bullshit darkness. And dude, again, in your life and in the world, if you are honest to yourself, so if you say, "I'm going to the gym on Monday," or "I'm going to finish this thing today," and you do it, and you know if you tell yourself something, you'll do it, and if other people know that if you say something to them, they'll do it, you can't be a people pleaser. It eliminates it, because you can't say, "Oh, well, yeah, I'll do that," and then no, there's not enough time. If like that superpower of being honest with yourself and honest with other people all of the time changes the fucking building blocks of your entire existence. If you know you do what you say, you are a man or woman who does what they say they're going to do, it's amazing how much bullshit just melts away, and how much bullshit in your life is created by giving little half-truths. "Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah, sure, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe, oh, yeah, all right. If you can't tell truth to yourself, you can't tell the truth to the world or other people. Don't tell yourself you're going to go to the gym and then not go. It plants seeds of doubt, and you will resent yourself. The best thing a person can be in their life is proud of themselves. How can you be proud of yourself? You have to keep your own word to yourself. Don't promise yourself something you're not going to be able to do. Make yourself promises and keep them. End of my rant for now. Best movie ever, Apocalyptico. It is very cool. It is very, very cool, and mostly truthful, actually. Apocalyptico was directed by Mel Gibson, right? And it's the Mayan movie here that was filmed, I think, a lot here in Mexico about the Mayan culture. The only thing that they exaggerated was how much human sacrifice the Mayan did. because it wasn't that much. They definitely did, but not on the tops of temples and rolled the heads down. It was more like an Aztec thing. Goku Spirit Bomb. Crawfish boil with African tribe and Skeeter. Thank you. Who said that? Clifton. Ah, man, it's a big thing, right? It's like, it's going to be a lot of work to get Skeeter Ray to Africa. And it's a fun idea. And someone, I think, originally put a comment that's like, fun idea, but now we're all sober, so let's not. And I think that might be it. Like the issue is this: like it would be a fantastic trip. It would be very fun. Those guys, they like the Hadza and Skeeter would be like the craziest mash over ever. I would love to be able to give Skeeter that experience. He is a wonderful, wonderful man. It's just the logistics and doing it safely and well, honestly. And getting out there to the Hadza is not that easy. It's lots of driving. Skeeter's a big guy. He hasn't traveled very much. Getting him all the way, like 3 or 4 flights to middle of nowhere, Tanzania. It could be done, but the last thing I'd want is for us to have some sort of accident or some sort of problem and it'd be a bad scenario, you know? So I think it's written off for now. Well, if it's not, well, the thing is, if it doesn't happen now, it's not going to happen. So I don't think it's going to happen. 99% not going to happen. Unfortunately, it'd be awesome though. If there was teleportation, we'd make it happen. Just the world's not so easy to get around when you don't have a passport. You're getting up there in age and you're, in the bayou. Michelle Finch. Hey, Mike. So good to see you. And I think it's my first time watching live. I haven't done a live in a while, but let's do more. This is fun. I like to hang, answer questions, do shit. This dude has a show on TLC, let alone YouTube. I could be on TLC, guys. I don't know. I was on Weather Channel for a while. I was on BBC for a while. I've turned away from television. Who said that? Chris Fawkes. And yeah, but now YouTube's the way to like. Okay, so there's good money in TV, but like, why I can do exactly what I want here, right? Let's do that. And Nick says my shoes are untied. Bro, I don't wear shoes, Nick. You shouldn't either. What state am I in Mexico? I am in Quintana Roo, which is where Cancun is. I'm just south of Cancun. All right. It's almost been an hour. Let's do a couple more questions, and I have to keep going. How do you make your travel money? Says Tazen. YouTube ad rev. So if there's ads on YouTube videos, you get a few pennies from there. I have a podcast called Against the Odds. I've got a couple different projects. I've got retreats that I do called Tribal Rights. We have 2 more coming up this fall. If you'd like to know, it's in the description of this video. Also, a bunch of stuff. So all that together, we can make a little bit of money with travels. Hola, ¿cómo te llamas? By INXS. Me llamo Mike. Mucho gusto. Inks. Send me some Bufo frog juice. Yeah. Actually, you honestly could probably ship it. I don't know if is there active DMT in Bufo? I don't know if they would test that or not. It just look like water or paste, right? Wendy, are your retreats in Canada? Nope, my retreats are in Mexico. So if you can fly down to Cancun, our retreats are like an hour from Cancun in the middle of the jungle. A place called Valladolid. And there's 2 more coming this fall. And for the next month, you can get a discount if you'd like to come, break free, claim a bold, adventurous life. All this is possible at Tribal Rights. Ding. No, but honestly, guys, I built this retreat to take all of the lessons, the adventures, the rituals, the ceremonies, everything I learned in 12 years of travel, condense it down into a week so you guys don't have to travel the world to get all the lessons. I want to help people break free, live a bold, adventurous life, be fearless, and that's what the retreat's about. All in the jungle, by the way. Through adventure and travel, be your best self. Tribal Rights. You can go to my website, fearlessandfar.com, or you can find it in the descriptions of this video too. How do you think, this is from Mayreed, how do you think your travel experiences would be different if you were a woman? Hate feeling inherently more vulnerable when traveling solo as a woman, love solo travel, especially off beaten track. I think that it would be different, but listen, like I can't give women travel advice, but I can tell you there's lots of women out there doing wild shit on the internet, right? Like, yeah, just type in solo female travel. There's girls biking across Africa. There's girls living in vans across in Pakistan. Like, oh, it's crazy. So, I mean, for myself, I run into very little trouble. I'm 6'1", 185 pounds, have tattoos. Generally, people don't mess with me too much, and that does allow, I think, a bit easier travel in some countries, like around the world. But there's still lots of women doing things that way, and generally, a lot of cultures are quite respectful, like Muslim cultures, for example, because there is women and men are more segregated. Women are treated with so much more respect than, for example, like in India or something. So those cultures, it's different. Modern cultures, I don't know. Again, there's lots of people making content like that. Go check them out. Anthony Bourdain, someone dropped in the chat. Do you guys know Bourdain? Put it in the chat if you know Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain was a role model of mine for a long time. I loved his shows. They were edgy, bold. His writing was fun and interesting, and he did exactly what he wanted on television, which was very difficult to do in a world where there's producers and executive producers and all these kinds of people. But he killed himself in 2018, unfortunately. And the circumstances are a little bit strange. I have got my own thoughts. I don't think he meant to personally, but who knows? He was going through a bit of a hard patch, had some drug history, but it's just a shame. He is probably the most influential travel personality we've ever had. And there hasn't been anybody really replace him. Super chat from Ryan. I feel trapped often. I make good money, good family life, but I want to travel so bad I can't stand it. How do I pursue more than a beach trip? So, bro, the main goal of Fearless and Far is I try to teach people this, that knowledge is the antidote to fear. So, I'm not saying you're afraid per se. I'm just saying that knowledge is freedom. And what that means is, whether it be learning how to speak publicly, seems very confrontational and difficult, maybe even makes you feel fear. But if you learn more about it and know the details and have somebody help you with that, it's not so bad. Traveling the world's very similar. If you are a bit, like I say, stuck to go, but stuck is still a fear. Like fear, we use this word like it's it's not always like that. If you're afraid of flying or heights, you feel that, bam, don't you? But if you're stuck or you procrastinate or hesitate, that's still fear. I call them loud fears and quiet fears. Loud fears are the ones where it's like, I'm scared of dogs and that's a dog. Quiet fear is like, maybe I shouldn't post the video today, or maybe I'll start my book on Monday, or working out on Monday. That's still fear. There's still fear. It's just quiet. It's like deeper. But the thing is, having somebody there to help you and show you the way helps so much, especially I think for men, where you want to make the right decisions. You have a bit of a perfectionism. You don't want to fuck up. You don't want to waste money, do these things. Having some kind of mentor, whether it be digital or in person, to kind of show you a bit of the way, whether it's like hiring someone for a consultation, just to talk about something, maybe going there, having a coach, like for example, working out. It's intimidating, but you have a private coach, like a trainer, and they're there every single day. They'll get you fit. You know what I mean? And I guess, like, dude, when I read that message, I just see like, come down to Mexico with us. bro. Like, this is exactly what this trip is about. So we have Tribal Rights, right? Which is this adventure retreat that we did, the first one in March. Had 22 people come from all over the world. Some had never left their country before. One had never been on a plane before, flew down to Mexico near Valladolid, where I'm staying right now, spent 1 week in the jungle. And we had people, like, the testimonials from this trip were melted my heart. We had people make such massive life changes in that 1 week. The whole idea is to take all of these lessons, all these bits and pieces, these rituals, these ceremonies, everything I've learned in 12, 13 years of travel, putting it together in 1 week. So if you feel stuck, you feel trapped, you feel scared, you feel like you're meant for more, you can come down, join us in Mexico, and you can claim the bold and adventurous life you deserve. And you can be part of our tribe of people, these fear-fighting badasses, most of which, again, haven't really traveled much before. This retreat is not for the experienced traveler. It can be, totally. Like, there's lots of very, very challenging, fun, adventurous things. We're going to all these caves and special sinkholes that don't even have names. There's definitely a lot there for that. But what the soul of this is, helping people learn how to challenge themselves and giving them a safe environment to really fucking blossom, bro. Really explode in, like a slingshot, in the right direction. So, it's called Tribal Rights. In the description of this video, there's some information, or you can go on the website, or there's lots of places you can find. But Tribal Rights Adventure Retreats. You can go on my Instagram and tag there as well, under Fearless Expeditions. We would fucking love to see you, man. And there's a discount for, it's like over $1,000 off for the next few weeks. Would love to have you there. All right, dudes and ladies, a few more questions. How much does it cost? You have to go to the site and check it out. Just know that there's $1,300 off the retreat for the next few weeks. Any questions at all, too? Like, if cost is an issue, send me an email. We'll figure something out. We can set you up with, like, yeah, there's options to be able to be a bit flexible. You can speak to me or someone on my team. Canadian Spiro in Malta. Have you ever done a spearfishing video? Would be cool to see if you can hook up with some spear fishermen and do a cool spearfishing video. Man, I would love to. There's actually one I was speaking to here in Mexico who does it just off the coast, and it's going to happen. I've never done it. I've done a lot of free diving. Free diving is incredible. One of the coolest sports and activities I've done, and that with some hunting would be sick. Sick. Link does not work for me. Oh no. If you go to my website, oh, I have to put the fucking dash in, boys and girls. Okay. That's a bummer. Okay, so in the chat, boom, that's what it is. Tribal Rights, there it is. There currently is no age. You mean age limit as an older or younger? My favorite music is, well, Spotify told me my favorite music was Vapor Twitch, which I didn't know was a genre. But my favorite artists would be Para for cover. You guys can see my chat, right? Emancipate. Oh, I should have been fucking chatting the whole time. There we go. Boom. And if anyone is still here who wants to check out the new merch project, it's fearlessandfar.com/lost artifacts. Amazing. So, and you can sign up for the notifications when the drop happens this weekend. My favorite podcasts or books. My favorite podcast is my podcast, Against the Odds. Check it out. And my favorite books. All right, last thing. These 3 books I have read and then reread. They are my 3 favorite right now. I have new ones all the time. Taze in. Watch with the spam, buddy. Boom. If you're a dude, Way of the Superior Man is a amazing book. This one is about self-image. Also a very amazing book. And this one, if you have a business, helps so much. So this book teaches a man how to be a man. What does that mean? Honesty, truth, purpose, being a fucking bright, shining light in a dark world, being the master of your castle. This book is the best, the best, the best, the best. Read it twice back to back. Finished it, read it again immediately. Psycho-Cybernetics about self-image, teaching you how your self-image is the most powerful force in your life, and you will always be guided by it. And if you don't know what it is, it's still guiding you. So keep track of it. Also, read the book once, immediately read it again a second time. Only 2 books I've ever done that with. Who Not How is a book about how if you feel stuck in life and business, anywhere you feel stuck, it's not a problem of how to get something done. It's always a problem of who's going to get it done. You're delaying going to the gym, for example. You're not like saying how is the wrong question, or like when. It's who is the answer, which means hire a personal trainer, get a friend, get a group. And with that, having people, everything else works so much easier. So for me, editors, producers, oh shit, I have to do that website thing again. Oh, how did I do that last year? Not how, and then it stays on my to-do list for a month. Who? Hire, get it done, find somebody. There's always someone who can help. Didn't need to read that one back to back. It's 200 pages just explaining this 19 different ways. Those 3 books are my current favorite. Okay, 40 and up, Janet. It can happen for sure. Last time we had a couple people who were over 40 in the previous one. Out of 22, I think there was at least 2. Mike, do you speak French? Oui, je parle français parce que je suis de la partie français de Canada. Pas de Québec, pero, mais je mêle souvent avec espagnol. Porque espagnol es aquí en Mexico. All right, guys. I think that's it. We've been here for over an hour. I needed to get to some work to get that video done for tomorrow. So, adios, Tazen. You find me an undiscovered fish species, buddy, and we'll make a video. Vive Mexico, cabrones, Pablo Ramos. All right, guys. Yeah, I know, right? Tazen. Take it easy, Bo. We're over anyway. Guys, thank you so much. Make sure to check out Lost Artifacts. Like I said, it's in the description. It's the new merch project, scrap metal machetes, as well as playing cards, as well as crystal skulls coming this weekend. Check out the Tribal Rights Adventure Retreats if you're feeling stuck and you feel like you're meant for more, also in the description. I want to say thank you, everyone. We'll do this more often. It's fun. It's easy. Hang, answer questions. Let's fucking go. Adios. Have a great Saturday or Sunday. That's where it is where you are.